Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. I've been thinking a lot about this idea of just, being not necessarily on lockdown, but what's happening with people being limited in their interactions. The reality is that most of us, I think you, like myself, from time to time have thought to yourself, wouldn't it be nice to live on an island in the middle of nowhere, right? Or to maybe be, in the wilderness in Alaska and not have to deal with people. Because sometimes, people are draining. There's drama, there is conflict, there's frustration. And sometimes people wear us out. And the idea that we want to be in isolation, we want to be alone is very, very appealing. But yet I think that during these last 4 or 5 weeks, we've also come to realize that we are relational people and we are wired to be in community. When Maslow put together his hierarchy of needs, he said outside of the basic need, which is survival, the need for food and water, the next basic need is the need for safety. We need to feel safe and protected. And so those are really about surviving. And after you have those base needs, the third sort of need that Maslow identified was the need to belong. That people have this innate need to be able to connect with other people, to be in a sense of community. Recently, I was watching a press conference from the World Health Organization, and I saw that they are changing their terminology, even though they initiated this idea and encouraged people to move towards what you're now familiar with as social distancing. They are now changing their terminology, and they are encouraging people to use the phrase physical distancing. So it's the same concept, but here's what the lady said. She goes, we don't want to limit social interaction because we realize that is not healthy. People need social interaction to be healthy, she said, but we are changing it to physical distancing. We just want people to have space so the virus doesn't spread as easily. I thought that was very interesting because whether it's Maslow or whether it's the World Health Organization, you see, people realize just pragmatically that we are wired to be in relationship. But you know what? This should not come as a surprise because those of us who know the Lord, those of us familiar with the scriptures know that in the book of Genesis, chapter number 1, when God created the heavens and the earth, the Bible says that the Lord looked in his creation and he said, it is good. But then when God created Adam, the first human, he said, it is not good that man should be alone. And then the Bible says that God created Eve. And after God created Eve, he looked upon it and he said, it is very good. Notice the play on words. Creation itself is good. Man being alone is not good. But when God created Adam and Eve together, he said, it is very good. Even Jesus, when he came to this world, didn't live in isolation. He wasn't a one-man show, but he chose disciples and he chose to live in community. Sometimes, my friends, we get exhausted by people. We get frustrated by the conflict and the challenges that people can bring into our life. But don't ever forget that God has wired you to be in relationship. He's wired you to be a relational being to connect with other people. But also God has wired you to be in a relationship with him through his son, Jesus Christ. Not just are we wired to be in relationship with other people. The Bible says that he has put eternity in the hearts of men and women. And that God has wired us to be able to know the Lord and to have a relationship with him as well. And so during this time of physical distancing, after 4 or 5 weeks, and knowing that this may be starting to phase out here shortly, or it may go on for an extended period of time, I just want to encourage you to realize that the longing that you have to be interacting with people, the longing you have for a hug, the longing that you have for a kiss on the cheek, the longing you have just to be able to laugh with friends and see people face to face, that longing, my friends, is healthy. It's from God. And that longing, my friends, should be one that we express gratitude for once we get our full liberties and opportunities to re-engage with again. And I hope that when we re-engage, that we will have a greater appreciation for the relationships and the people that we have in our life. And also, I want to remind you that this is an opportunity to also listen to that still small voice inside, to realize that God has also drawn you and God has wired you to be in relationship with him. And if you don't know the Lord, or if you've walked away from him, I hope that you will listen to that voice. You will call out to God. You will ask him to make himself known to you. And those of us who know the Lord, I hope and pray that we're drawing near to him in prayer and his word so that we can be able to remind ourselves that we are his creation, made in his image, and he longs for us to know him and to be in relationship with him, even as we are one another. Thank you for listening, and God bless you.